name is Aaron Smith and I am an account executive for Olson. When I started, I jumped into the communications school. I wasn't really sure that I wanted to be in advertising. I just kind of knew that, communications and media was where I wanted to be, and I just drilled down further and further in my classes at the U and figured out that I wanted to be in advertising.
I'm Jenna Ross. I cover higher education for the Star Tribune. I have always liked the idea of newspapers, and when I was 11 years old, published the Ross Report, which was a one-page newspaper dedicated to the happenings in my family. So that's kind of my first evidence that I had interest in this as a career. And in high school, I joined the high school newspaper, which I ended up loving and became the editor-in-chief, and did that for a couple years. And when I started to look for colleges, looked for those with journalism programs.
Well, I've been here for almost 2 years, and in the last few months I've acquired a few more responsibilities, so I've definitely jumped more on the digital side of advertising rather than traditional. Before I was doing a lot of print, a little bit of broadcast, and some strategy work, and now I've had the opportunity in the last few months to really dive into doing digital work. So I'm helping run a website, doing an online game. We do a lot of other digital projects that I wasn't really well versed in before. I'm still learning.
When I was in school, I expected to use video in my job, and I expected to use blogs and those kinds of things. But the idea of using Twitter for my job was something that kind of hit me unexpectedly 3 or so years ago. And it's grown into a reporting tool that I use on a daily basis, not only to find people, but to get a sense of what conversations are happening between faculty members and students and parents on a daily basis.
Professors are probably going to kill me for saying this, but I think even going back farther to when I graduated, when I was in school, I wish I would have known that in addition to your schoolwork, you really have to buckle down and get some outside experience, because at the end of the day, you need that college degree, but what employers are really looking for is internships on your resume and different types of experience. They just want to know that you're qualified for the job, and a lot of times, straight A's in your classes isn't really enough to get you a job. So I really wish I would have known that a little more when I graduated.
Now looking back, I kind of wish that I had double majored, that I had gone into greater depth into other subjects in school so that I could now write about those subjects with more authority. I think specialization in journalism is really intriguing, and I think it might move more toward that direction in future years. I think the #1 class that I would recommend that I took was with Chris Eisen, his practicum with the Star Tribune. It gives students a chance to be in a newsroom and to write stories and work with an editor and get to know sort of the daily pressures of the job. And it gives people a sense very quickly of whether or not this is something they want to do. And if it is, it gives them the chance to really shine in front of people who could eventually hire them for jobs.
Somebody just graduating or about to graduate and looking to get into the field, I mean, it's definitely about making connections. I think you need to have a reputation, and you need to know that employers will trust your references, they'll trust where you're coming from, because from their end of things, it's easier to know that this person came from a colleague of theirs or a former coworker who really recommends this person, versus kind of sifting through resumes for people that they don't really know much about.
What got me noticed here at the Star Tribune through my internships and through even my initial years of reporting here were my abilities to tell a strong story. I think it's important for new students to really brand themselves and to show the variety of skills that they have, but to also know that at the end of the day, it's the reporting and writing skills that will lead them through this career.
Probably the most challenging part about my job is pleasing both sides, because as an account person, you're the voice for the creative team at the agency, and you're also the voice for the client. And oftentimes those two groups don't see eye to eye.
I feel a deep obligation to both the people I interview and the people who eventually are going to read my stories. And that obligation stresses me out.
What I love most about my job is I think the agency environment is, I think it's different than the traditional corporate environment. It's very, I don't know, it's a little more, I find it very spontaneous and very energetic. You're around a lot of other creative and energetic people, and I think it's different day to day. You're never working on the same thing. Everything's fast-paced, everything's exciting. You get to do a lot of interesting work, and you get to see a project from the beginning, from the very beginning stages of planning and strategy, and then you get to see it kind of come to life at the end in, whether it's a website or a print ad or a video, whatever that may be. You get to kind of follow the whole process along to an end product and kind of be proud of what you just did.